Everyone, what's up? We're back here with week 5 of the college football 2023-24 season. Just like college football, this season's flying by really fast as well. So it can slow down a little bit as I talked about in yesterday's NFL video. But yeah, another actually decent week of college football games. Not as many big games as last weekend. In the video I did last Friday, I went 11-1 in picking games. The only game I got incorrect was Notre Dame versus Ohio State. I also do score predictions in these videos as well with the college football side of things. This week was tougher to actually pick a score, so just bear with me on that one here. Let's get straight into it, shall we? Let's start in Raleigh, North Carolina for tonight's kickoff between NC State Wolfpack and the Louisville Cardinals. Louisville's minus 3.5 on the road. And I think this is a trap for Louisville, honestly. I'm not saying NC State's a bad team. They're really not. Their defense is really sound. Look at the game against Notre Dame. They were holding in there for a while until Notre Dame kind of finally pulled away, but it took them a while to do so. At home, nighttime, I like the upset here. Actually, Louisville's in trouble in this one, in my opinion. I don't know if they're going to be able to effectively run their offense. I know quarterback Plummer and their rushing attack have been doing solid for the most part. They just basically dumped 56 points on Boston College, but NC State's defense is significantly better. The question is, can their offense produce just enough? I feel like they might be able to here at home. Their quarterback Armstrong is going to have to play well in this one. He's really the key, I think, to them winning this game especially, and I think NC State can pull it off. Nighttime game in Raleigh. Fans are going to be wild. This is going to be a crazy game. ACC matchup coming your way tonight. Another big game tonight, which should be a rowdy house as well. Number 19, Oregon State Beavers versus the number 10, Utah Utes. The line has jumped to 4.5 for Oregon State. That's telling me Cam Rising is not playing in this game still, and that is a detrimental loss for Utah because Cameron Rising is really a tremendous quarterback. He can do basically anything you need him to do. Run, pass. He knows how to play the game well. Again, I talked about this in last week's video too. The trust I have with DJ is not there really. he still turned it over in crucial situations last week, but they try to come back in and they were down by a bit, and they try to come back. They're at home. It's a nighttime game basically in Corvallis. Unfortunately, I'm taking Oregon State in the upset. I've seen this before where I question the line. I'd be like, why is Oregon State favored? But I'm like, oh, Vegas is, I know what's going on here. This is the same thing I had with Buffalo yesterday against Miami. If you haven't checked that video out, please go do so. But I like Utah a lot. I know I said last week I was impressed with them, but I know when to bet against a team. I know when the time comes for that, and unfortunately, I do have to do that here. I hate to make this pick. This is actually BS in my opinion because of the fact, I don't know, man. I would love to see Utah win this game. I'm not an Oregon State fan, but you got to give respect to what Oregon State's been doing. The defense might play better in this game for sure because Utah's offense has been pretty pedestrian at times. So we'll see. Coming up in also tonight as well, we have the BYU Cougars versus the Cincinnati Bearcats. The line's down to even. I don't know what's going on, but Cincinnati was favored 2 earlier in the week. Now it's a pick 'em. Something's happening, and I do not like it too much with the whole thing. This is a tricky one to pick, man, because if Cincinnati's offense can do enough, and their defense actually slowed Oklahoma down to an extent, even though Oklahoma beat by 14, Oklahoma scored a season low 20 points. So that shows you, hey, Cincinnati's defense can slow things down, and BYU is not as explosive as Oklahoma, in my opinion, with their offense. BYU's offense, I think, is pretty good when it can be. But I got Cincinnati to rebound here and win on the road. That's not going to be easy. I don't really like this pick too much. I don't know. This is a tough one. Emory Jones needs to play well in this one on the road. I do think Cincinnati can pull it off. I don't know if I would call this an upset, really. Both these teams, of course, the newest additions to the newest additions to the Big 12. This will be interesting. I don't know when's the last time, if ever, these two face each other in football, so this ought to be interesting tonight. Moving on to our Saturday games, let's start off with the first one. In Boulder, Colorado. My goodness. This game is absolutely ridiculous. Colorado Buffaloes versus the number 8 USC Trojans. The Trojans are favored 21.5. Colorado got spanked last weekend, and I kind of knew they were going to get beat by a lot, but man, I didn't think they were going to play that bad, honestly. I knew it was a risk-taking 62 with Oregon, like putting Oregon at 62 points, but I felt like it was possible. They were on that pace anyways, so I don't know, man. Colorado, I think, should come to play in this one much better. I mean, Travis Hunter not having him hurts. He said he was going to try and play this week. I'm like, how are you going to play with a lacerated liver? I mean, come on. Let's not kill ourselves out there. I mean, that shows his pride, though, for the team, though. So, I mean, he's a workhorse. USC, USC to me, man, is garbage, man. Garbage on defense, especially. Like, their defense, I think, is worse than Oregon's, if you really want my honest opinion about it. USC, I think, has the number one offense in the country. I heard they're averaging 55 points a game. But why is it that they let Arizona State score 28 points, a team that struggles to score? That just goes to show you how bad, I mean, really, really bad this defense is. I'm not so worried about their offense, but the fact that teams can get into a shootout with them and potentially win, it just makes USC so much more vulnerable than the rest of the Pac 12. But listen, let's not get too carried away. I still have them winning by a pretty large margin. USC, I could see them being a little slower at the get-go here. This is a mysterious game. I don't know what's really going to happen here, but I think a lot of us are expecting a similar result to last week. But I'm going to be more tame with the score. I think I got too carried away last week with Oregon, Colorado, so learn my lesson for now. Next up in Lexington, Kentucky. Slow down, Steven. You were getting excited here because we got a very intriguing matchup here between Kentucky, the Kentucky Wildcats, and the number 22 Florida Gators. I really don't know why Kentucky's favored. Kentucky to me should not be favored. I think Florida should be favored. I think they've proven they're worth more. Their defense has really been showing up lately. In Kentucky, their offense is solid. I mean, let me kind of, I don't know. I really can't compare things back to week one when they faced my former school, Ball State. That was a slow start for Kentucky, especially. Matter of fact, they actually were losing in the first quarter or whatever. But either which way, Kentucky to me, I don't think is it. They're due for a loss. Give me Florida in the upset. I actually don't even want to call this an upset because Kentucky's not even ranked, first off. Second off, Florida will win this game, in my opinion. Graham Mertz needs to play a solid game. I think he will. Devin Leary is pretty solid as a quarterback, but I don't trust him against this Florida defense. I just don't for some reason. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. Analytics barely favor Kentucky, but give me Florida in the upset. Next up, I don't want to call this a neutral site game. This feels like more of a Texas A&M home game since we're in Arlington, Texas, for whatever reason for this game. We have the Arkansas Razorbacks taking on the Texas A&M Aggies. A&M's line still is 6. That's a little shocking considering the developing news of their quarterback. Yeah, Connor Wigman's out for the season. He's done, unfortunately. That's a huge loss for A&M because obviously A&M have been trying to really get back to the standard that they, try and get back to playing great football, obviously trying to be one of the best teams in the nation, and their offense is playing pretty well behind him under center. A&M's defense statistically is one of the best ones in the nation statistically, but again, they got burned by Miami. Their offense completely torched them. I know A&M was on the road for that game. Again, this is more of a home game for them, but I still don't trust A&M, man. And besides, they're not facing like Auburn. Auburn is not very good offensively. Auburn's offense is anemic, honestly. They only scored 10 points against A&M. I'm not buying all these numbers from A&M's defense. I like Arkansas here to strike the upset. Arkansas, I think, will be fuming after they lost like 3 to LSU in that game. They could have had that game, honestly. I like Jefferson to control the pace of this game, especially for Arkansas. Arkansas's defense needs to play well in this one. I think if their defense shows up, I think they got a chance, and they could certainly do it against A&M. Now, their quarterback, Max Johnson, he didn't particularly put up great stats, but then you got to remember, too, Auburn's defense is solid. Well, was one solid, but I don't know. Whatever. College football can be weird sometimes with how teams are. Next up, oh, brother. Hop on up to the Syracuse Orange land, where they're a 6.5-point home underdog to the Clemson Tigers. Yeah, Syracuse is 4-0, and I'm also thinking they're due for a loss. I really don't. I mean, they can only beat Army 29-16. I would have thought they would beat them by more than that, but statistically, Syracuse's defense, again, statistically, they're one of the best defenses in the country in terms of yards allowed. But I think Clemson's the better team here at the end of the day. Give me Clemson to win by like 10. Now, listen, I know some of you are going to be like, listen, whoa, whoa, whoa. Didn't they just blow a gasket to Florida State? Yeah, they did. But here's the thing, though. You can see that Clemson had a 10-point lead early on, and their running backs were trying to get going, and they almost kind of let Clemson get the victory, basically help them get the victory. Klubnik was kind of average in that game. I don't know. There were moments where he played well. I mean, he tried to do his best in that situation. He was kind of a bit of pressure, of course, the whole team was. And then their kicker, oh my gosh, their kicker. Holy crap, he's awful, man. I don't know what to say to the kicker, man. He missed that really short field goal near the end. That just completely, I think, put the nail in the coffin for Clemson. But I think Clemson will rally back in this one and expose Syracuse. I think Syracuse is overrated a little bit. Next up, this was a very tricky game to predict the score of. We have the James Madison Dukes, and by the way, I forgot to mention, there's a couple games in here that I grabbed from the College Pick'ems thing, and I put them in here just to, spice it up a little bit. So, James Madison Dukes for -3 at home against the South Alabama Jaguars. I don't know why I do that. Just the tendency to do that the last couple of years is be like, after I say a team name like the Jaguars, gotta go. Listen, James Madison this year have been in a lot of close games. They've actually knocked off Virginia on the road, I believe. Yeah, it was on the road. They've had 3 straight road games, all within a single score victory. But these are good quality wins. I don't like the fact that they almost let Utah State win. James Madison's pass defense is atrocious. According to their run defense, they only allow 41 rushing yards. Let's not take too much into account with that. I think because these other scores being high and the fact that you're in a lot of passing, the passing situation is more important, I would say, or more emphasized. South Alabama, I don't know what to make of this freaking team. They lost to Central Michigan at home. I mean, what? Is Central Michigan that good, or is South Alabama just lay a goose egg or whatever? After they went to Oklahoma State and beat them by 26, at least I don't understand it. Yeah, I'll take James Madison to win, I guess. This game's bizarre to me. You don't know what you're going to get here. James Madison and all these close games this year, except for the first one. But they've proven they're a good team. I mean, they're proving it, especially on the road, that they can hold their own. So how can I not believe that they'll win this game? But South Alabama, I mean, good Lord. We'll see. We'll see. This could be, James Madison could blow them out. Who knows? I don't know. Next up, let's go to this game. I'd rather just go to sleep than watch this game. We have the Auburn Tigers against the #1 Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia's 14-point favorite. And all I'm going to say is Auburn does not stand a chance in this game. Just forget it. Just forget it. This game's over when the ball kicks off. Explain to me how Auburn's offense is going to score in this game, because their offense just isn't cutting it, in my opinion. I mean, seriously, how are they going to seriously? Here, let me read you some point totals here from their season. Okay, cool. They scored 59 points against UMass and 45 against Samford. But against the more, like the Power 5 schools, Cal, 14 points. Texas A&M, 10 points. I don't know, man. And again, I know people are going to say, well, hey, A&M's defense. I'm thinking A&M's defense is a little stat padded. I mean, stat padded, honestly. And Auburn's offense, again, Auburn's stats on offense just tell you the story. Only 173 passing yards per game, but they do rush near 200. And Georgia only gives up 195 passing yards per game. Georgia's defense is going to shut down Auburn in this game. But with it being in Auburn, you never know. The extra crowd noise, the extra crowd participation, or whatever the crowd noise. I'm losing my train of thought because thinking about Auburn and how their offense is going to function. It's just making me malfunction. I think the crowd could get behind Auburn and push them a bit in this game, but I don't see it. Next up, oh my goodness, this game. Did you ever think you were going to mention these words? We have a ranked matchup between Texas and Kansas in college football. Seriously, you look at this graphic right now without even me. You skip to this part of the video without watching the intro, and you don't even look at the title. You would think, oh, college basketball. No, this is football, buddy. I'm telling you, it's nuts. Number 3 Texas Longhorns are minus 16.5 at home against the number 24 Kansas Jayhawks. I'll tell you what, Texas is the real deal this year. I'm going to call it right now. Texas is dangerous, man. They might be the most sound team in college football right now. I'm serious. I'm calling them better than Georgia. Yeah, I am. I don't trust Carson Beck as a quarterback for Georgia. I don't trust Georgia a little bit. I know they still have some of the weapons they had the last couple of years, but I'm still not buying. I'm not buying Georgia as a national champion this year. No way. Texas, I think, could be a national champion contender this year. Absolutely. I think a lot of people were talking about that. And I will give Texas all the credit they deserve. I was calling them overrated before the start of this season. And I think some people may have been too. But you know what? Hey, health. They're staying healthy. Their defense is playing well. And that offense is cooking. Quinn Ewers is absolutely playing out of his mind. They went to Baylor and shut them down. Kansas, on the other hand, Kansas is 4-0-2. Kansas is playing great offense. They've been scoring over 30 points each game. They were in an inexplicably close game against Nevada. Their defense is still not great, in my opinion. Unfortunately, the scoring streak comes to an end, man. You're going to get up against a force to be reckoned with for Texas. Not even close. I think Texas covers the spread. Kansas, some people are mentioning Kansas could make it close. I don't see it. Kansas is going to have a hard time against this defense, man. They really are. I just don't see it, man. I mean, Kansas's defense, again, to me, I don't think has really improved a whole lot from last season. Yeah, not even close. Next up, this game. Oh my gosh. We have the Purdue Boilermakers hosting the Illinois Fighting Illini. This is an even line, pick 'em basically. And these two are, when you look at their stats in terms of yardage, they are both similar. So now you break down the positions more or less. Altmyer has thrown a lot more picks than Hudson Card, okay? Both running backs have about the same stats with rushing. I don't know who the hell to pick here. I really don't. Do I really care? Not really. I'm going with Illinois for whatever reason. Purdue, to me, has looked worse. I don't know. I don't know much to say about this game. Snooze fest. Alright, this one. Let's go to Lubbock. Lubbock, Texas? Lubbock, Texas, yes. The Texas Tech Raiders are minus 8.5 against the Houston Cougars. Are you kidding me? Tyler Shaw's done for this season. 8.5? Are you serious? I know Houston ain't that good this year, man. Houston's, if I could find the game on my phone, that'd be nice. Yeah, Houston can't run the ball. I mean, Houston got blown up by TCU at home. They lost in double overtime to Rice, the College of Rice. Oh gosh, Texas Tech lost to West Virginia. You can blame a lot of that on the quarterback. I don't know when he got injured in the game. I didn't watch it, but Tyler Shaw done for the year. That's terrible for Tech. They really, it's a real tough injury. Baron Morton's going to start. Houston quarterback set to start versus former team. His name is Donovan Smith. I don't even know he played for Texas Tech. But then again, now the name kind of is familiar a little bit. That kind of reminds me of it a little. I don't know. I think Texas Tech's run game will be the difference here. Even though they average 162 rushing yards per game. I don't know, man. Texas Tech's going to have to really run the ball, I think, in this one especially. Houston gives up 144 rushing yards per game. I don't know. I really don't know. This game's just bizarre now. I would stay away from it for betting purposes. But I got Texas Tech to win by 5 or so. Yeah, I don't know. Sucks, Duck. So I do like both those teams, by the way. Let's go to a very interesting game between the Navy. Again, this was another one that matched us in the college pick'ems thing. Navy Midshipmen versus South Florida Bulls. Navy's -3. Why are they -3? Dude, let's get this out there, okay? Navy averages 113 passing yards per game. Yep. 113. Are we in middle school? Are you kidding me right now? They rush for 223 yards per game, average. Oh gosh, I've already watched South Florida play this year. Their defense, they can apply pressure to the quarterback. Can they stop the run? They only allow 88 rushing yards per game. South Florida's quarterback against Alabama, man, he looked like he was a turtle. But I think South Florida wins. Just give me South Florida. Need to speed things up anyway. Number 20, Ole Miss Rebels hosting the number 13 LSU Tigers. LSU's -2.5 at home. And I can see the upset here for sure. Ole Miss is looking for some revenge. I'm sure they have a bad taste in their mouth after losing to Alabama like that. Interestingly enough, though, the ESPN analytics are favoring Ole Miss 56.5%. I'm not so sure about that. I like LSU's defense better than Ole Miss's, actually. I think LSU's defense could, be the difference here, and they're going to have to be the difference. I know LSU's offense can put up points. Give me LSU to win 35-28. The over-under 67, so you could hit the over in this one potentially. I'm going to be close. I'm going to come close to that with my score here, but yeah, I absolutely do smell potential upset alert here in this one for sure. I think that's pretty obvious, especially considering the fact that these two have higher powered offenses, especially. And I think this is my last pick. Yeah, last pick here. Boy, oh boy, save the best for last. By the way, I incorrectly left Notre Dame's record at 3-1. They're 4-1, by the way. Sorry about that. Number 17, Duke. What am I saying right now? I think Navy's passing yards numbers are really giving me a stroke right now because I still don't understand. 113 a game. Really? Duke Blue Devils are hosting the number 11 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. There we go. Notre Dame is -5.5 on the road. Oh my gosh. Duke, man, you gotta give it to Duke this year, man. They're playing really, really good. Riley Leonard and that offense is playing well. Duke's defense even is they are shutting the pass down in some of these games. Like they're only letting opponents on average in the passing department 143 passing yards a game. They're just on the mark. Notre Dame, that was a bad loss to Ohio State. They should have won that game. I have so many things to say about that game. I'm not going to get into all that. I'm just going to tell you this, though. Notre Dame is not happy they lost that game. I think this is a lower scoring fight. This score might be too high, man, 24-21, because I could see this easily being like 13-10, similar to Ohio State and Notre Dame. I can see the upset. Duke at home. They play well at home, of course. They beat Clemson at home 28-7 on opening night. So, this is going to be a dogfight. I definitely want to see this. It'll be on ABC, so it'll be a nationally televised game. But guys, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for College Football Week 6. That will be around next Thursday or so. I'm going to try to get these out just a little bit earlier in the week. Until then, though, hope you guys enjoy a great weekend as we go into October. Yeah, October is already about here. See you guys then.